Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anew Prospective. I'm your host, Elder Tequila, and with me today is Kendra, the CEO, the owner of Lady K Jewels. She is a full-time entrepreneur, and today I'm interviewing her. We're going to talk a little bit about leaving the corporate world for full-time entrepreneurship, right? So we are going to talk about that jump. I met this lady probably over 20 years ago. Yes, over 20 years ago in the corporate world, y'all. So she left a lucrative 9 to 5 to go ahead and start her business full time.
Oh yes.
Kendra.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm breathing. I'm okay. I'm breathing. I'm alive. I'm good.
So talk to me about why you decided to make that jump from full-time corporate world to full-time entrepreneurship, and how did you know when it was actually time for you to do so?
So the pandemic helped me make my decision. You know, when you're in an office, you have buffers, right? You have coworkers to talk to. You have lunch breaks. You have the coffee room. You have your lunch break. So sometimes you don't realize whether or not you like your job or not because you have the buffers, right? So during the pandemic, there were no buffers. I was home in front of a computer every day, all day, and it was then that I realized I don't like my job. There was no one to talk to. There was no coffee break, so it was just me, myself, and I, and this laptop and my job. And I realized I don't like what I do. I'm doing this for the money.
Yeah.
Right. And when I came to that realization, so what was happening during the pandemic was I was working my 9 to 5 remotely, and then I would log off at 5 o'clock and literally lug almost a garbage bag full of merchandise to the post office to ship to my customers.
Wow.
So after a while, I thought to myself, why am I working this 9 to 5 when my business is doing great? Now, of course, I didn't think about the fact that everyone was shut down, so everyone was shopping online. They had no other choice but to shop online, so that played a huge role, right? But it was really just realizing that I don't like my job. And I never knew that I didn't like my job. It took the pandemic for me to realize I don't like my job because, again, there were no buffers. There was no coworkers to crack up with and, walk around the office, killing time, taking 5,000 bathroom breaks. I don't smoke or drink, so it was no, smoke breaks. So, it was all of that stuff that kind of, it fills in. So without all that stuff and just sitting home with that laptop, I said, I hate what I do, and I'm only doing this for the money.
Yeah.
And it was at that point that I said, okay, money can't make me happy. It will never make me happy. So many people think that it will, but it won't. So I said, I want to do what I love. And I love my job. I love my side hustle is what it was at that point. I love that. Like, I couldn't wait to log off just to package up these items, put my thank you stickers on, put my little inspirational cards inside and head to the post office and text all the customers and say, hey, your package is on the way. Like, that brought me joy. That brought me fulfillment. That made my day more than what I was doing for the 6-figure job.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's a really important point because I think so many people today, they stay on their jobs rather than living out their dream because they're afraid of not making the same amount of money.
Sure.
And, they're afraid that the job, that the side hustle, and when it does become full-time, whether or not it would be able to maintain and stay at that same level. Right. So that is a really important point, and I think we really have to have that mindset that money is not everything.
It's not.
And it won't make you happy, and it's not the be-all, end-all of your life.
It's
and
not.
When we get to the end of our life and we look back, you would have so many regrets. Like, I wish I would have started the business. I wish I would have did that. And, we have to be understanding that our life is a gift, Life is but a vapor.
That's it. Here today, gone tomorrow.
And so, like you said, you sitting in front of that computer. It's just you and the computer screen. And it's during the pandemic. Nobody can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm like, I hate this. I don't like this. Every meeting, it just became something that I despised almost. Like, why am I doing this and not doing what I love?
Yeah.
And so there was never, I'm not a big God said person, right? Because I don't play with God like that. I have to know that he said it to say that he said it, is
Yeah.
what I say. So he never said, Kendra, quit your 9 to 5 and go start this business.
Mm-hmm.
God never said that to me. It just was a matter of me saying, Lord, I'm trusting you. This is what I want to do. I love this. I hate this. So I'm just praying your blessing over this decision that I'm making. You know, give me some sort of feeling, you know, that I'm doing the right thing. And it's like everything just started like going in the direction of what I wanted to do, my 9 to 5. I started, okay, so I'm going to backtrack. Before I made the decision to leave my 9 to 5 to start my business, out of nowhere, for no reason, I would go on these websites and order things in bulk, bags, and I would order boxes, shipping boxes and shipping packages. And I always say to myself, why am I ordering this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know at that time why I was doing it. I just was doing it. So I just would do it. So before I knew it, my entire garage was filled with any and everything that you could think of to run a business full time. And I just was ordering this stuff. I don't know why, but I was.
Yeah.
And when I made the decision to walk away from my job, I gave them a 6 week notice. People don't do that.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, because I was with the company almost 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like, who can I really train in 2 weeks to learn what I've done in 13 years?
Wow.
Gave them 6 weeks, and on that last day, just was like, I don't know, it was. You ever feel like this burden just lift off of you? Like you can't explain it. It's just like I just felt like I could breathe, and I just felt carefree. I felt worry free, and I felt like God was blessing me to do this. That He and I looked at my garage. I just felt like everything was pointing towards what I was trying to do, without me before I even decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it was almost like He was preparing me, kind of like how David, when they was looking for the big strong men to fight Goliath, right? But David, all this time, been fighting bears and lions and not realizing that he was being prepared for something so much greater, not knowing why he was doing this, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't until it was time to defeat this. Everybody's scared of this giant, but this little boy that's been fighting, he's like, man, he ain't nothing to me. I've been doing this all my life. I can handle this.
That is good right there,
So,
what you saying. Yeah. I think one of the things we have to be cognizant of is that the things that we love to do, take stock of that.
Right.
And, our passion. What is our passion? Just like God, when He told Moses, look what's in your hand.
Right.
Use what's in your hand.
Use what I gave you.
And I think a lot of times we be looking for this huge, big sign of like, oh, that must be it. Yeah. And when God is just saying, use what I've already given you. You already have it.
Right.
And He already told us He's given us everything that we need to live this life, right?
Amen.
Everything that we need is within us. So what do you... I think you already answered this, but what do you love most about being an entrepreneur?
Oh my goodness. My number one fulfillment is making ladies feel beautiful, making them feel confident. Like when a female walks into my shop and she's like, I get 75% of my customers walk up into my shop with this this shade of, I want to say, it's not a level of confidence there, is what I want to say. It's a shade of insecurity, and they'll walk in, oh, I don't know what I look like in this, and I mean, and so I love that I get the opportunity to impart into them, tell them, girl, you good, you bad, you beautiful. Like by the time you walk out of my shop, you that girl. Yeah. Like you that girl, you feel like you can go on stage with the best of them, because I'm not letting you walk out of here feeling that way. Like you can come in here like that, but you're not gonna leave that way. So that is more than the money, more than I'm telling you. If I could do what I do for free and somehow still be able to provide for myself, I would do it. That's how much I love it. I would do it for free. I love it. I love when women walk into my shop and they just don't have a clue. They don't have and they're in this place where you can tell sometimes where it was something that was fed to them. Mm-hmm. Someone told them they weren't pretty enough, they weren't good enough, and so it's pulling that up out of them. So it's ministry to me too. It's not just selling a piece of jewelry or selling someone an outfit. It's ministry. It's telling people you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, how dare you walk in here and talk about yourself like that? I've told my customers, don't talk about my customer like that. Talking to them about them.
I know that.
Don't talk. And they're like, no, I don't care if it's you. I'm telling you, don't talk about you like that in front of me. Don't do it.
What we have to understand as the body of Christ is that it is our responsibility to bring value to other people's lives. We should be going, wherever we are, we should be impacting people's lives and pulling them out from places and making their lives better with every encounter. Right. And like you're doing that, and we should be cognizant of that, like using everything that we have to make other people's lives better.
Yeah, I feel like when you feel good about yourself, it makes everything around you. You know how it is when you get dressed and you look good. You walk out that house, you walk out that room with a different type of confidence, as opposed to when you're unsure and you're trying to compare yourself to what the next person gonna look like. And I have women come to my shop. I'm going on my girlfriends. They always look so nice, and I'm just there. And I'm like, well, today you gonna be that girl. We gonna make sure, and I'll pull out. You talking about us? Cause I girl, where you going after this? Yep, you going. I'll pull out the glitter, the glam, and before I know it, they calling me the next day. Oh my God. Yep, I told you I was going to take pictures with you. So I love that. Like, okay, so that's the person you are in this group. We changing that today.
Exactly.
Today you change. That dynamic change. You're gonna be that girl. You're gonna walk in the room and they're gonna be like, what hit you? That's yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm there for all of it.
It's impacting people's lives. And that is really important. So with the fashion and jewelry industry that you're in, how do you stay relevant and current? How do you make sure that you're staying up with the trends?
Honestly, T, I don't. I don't. I can't say that I scan other stores or that I look through magazines or fashion blogs or anything like that to stay up to date. I go into a store. If I like it, I buy it.
Yeah.
I say to myself, would you wear this? And if I would wear it, I get it. And then I had a learning curve as well, because I had a female come into my shop and she goes, everything in here looks like you. What if somebody doesn't dress like you or want to look like you but still want to look nice? And when she said that to me, I said, okay, so I had to start thinking outside the box and not necessarily just buying things that only I would wear, but still things that are nice. So right now, if you walk in my shop, there's nothing in any of that I would say, that's ugly, but I bought it because somebody else might like it. It may not be something I would wear, but I still like it. So if I like it, I'm buying it, and I feel like me liking it is going to be enough, and it's going to sell. Yeah,
I like that, because it's important that we find our own niche, right? And we're unique and true to ourselves, and not try to be like everybody else, So we have to stay in our own lane, and that's where we'll thrive, because we're in our own lane.
There's no competition when you're in your own lane. There's none. I mean, now people may be competing against you, but you yourself, you're not competing. When you're doing what you were called to do, when you're doing your thing, your own thing, I have no competition.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Macy's, Nordstrom, Saks. I have no competition.
It's me versus me.
That's it. Every day I'm trying to be better than myself. That's it. I have no competition. Now, if you're competing against me, sorry, but I have no competition. I'm not competing with nobody.
Yeah. That's good right there. That's good stuff. Okay, so I know that you have a very small staff.
Yes, I can count us on my hand.
You, yourself, and you.
Yeah, man.
Occasionally.
Okay, my daughter would help first in the church. Yeah, I have some people I can call on, but for the most part, I run it by myself. Yeah.
And it's not just the actual shop hours, but you also run an online boutique. There's also you go into the post office and getting packages out there. It's you marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do my social media alone. Everything from soup to nuts I do it alone. When I say I have people that help, that's like if I can't make it to the shop, say, hey, can you go in the shop and be there as a body to sell these things? And I do have some people who are actually into fashion just as much as I am, so they'll be in there, making the customers feel the way I make them feel. So I love that too. But for the most part, yes, you're right. I'm the accountant. I'm the merchandise manager. I'm everything. I go, soup to nuts. Yeah, I do it all.
You just made a really important point. This wasn't the question I was going to ask, but you just made me think of something else.
What?
So you just said something, when you have somebody else that comes to work in the shop, like they'll handle things the way that you would handle them.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important too. Like the people that you hired, the people that you have on your team, they may not do things exactly the way that you would do it, but the customers that come to your shop are getting the essence of who you are and what you stand for. And that is really important when you're in business.
They have to live with the same experience.
They may not talk exactly like you. They may not bring it like you, but they're giving people the essence of what Lady K is. And I think that's really important.
Yes, listen, my daughter, she's what I consider to be a tomboy. She's not girly. You're not going to catch her in a pair of heels. Katie is not that girl. Yeah. But for my customers to come back to my shop and say, oh my God, your daughter is just like you. She has style. She dressed me. She picked my outfit out. Now, a few of them I had to question. I was like, what daughter? I knew what daughter was there, but I just thought maybe somebody else was in there with her, and I'm like, really? So I go home and I'm like, Pumpkin. Oh, you really? So I see another side of her even working at my shop, because she's dressing my customers, telling what jewels to go with what, and I would have never pegged her to do that. I just thought she was just there waiting to ring them up, and that's it. But when they come back, I even have some customers that come back and say, "Oh, Katie's not here today. I'll be back." And I'm like, "Well, the nerve." But hey, right. But that just lets me know that I have good employees, so I'm okay with that.
And that is good. You have to have people on your team that care the way that
they do, and every last one, and I'll give them their shout outs: Caitlin, Janine, Shantae, Lala, Rachel. All of them, they do it. They give my customers the same care I do, and they care about my business just as much as I do, and that's important.
That's important. Okay, so my question was, so with you doing so much, how do you prevent burnout?
Doing things that's very hard to do, asking for help, and being selfish. And when I say selfish, I mean, I don't care what's going on. Today is my day. I'm going to go treat myself to breakfast. I'm going to go get my nails done, my feet done. This is my day. I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb. If the house not burning down, don't call me. So I think to not prevent burnout, you have to be selfish sometimes. And selfish in a good way, meaning like you find time for yourself. You find time to, just sit back and think about nothing. Just enjoy your day. And also ask for help, which is something that's very hard to do. I do not, I'm telling you. If I don't have to, that's like my last resort is to ask for help or to admit that I even need help. So that was a learning curve for me starting this business. I had to learn how to ask for help.
Yeah, and we really have to lay our pride aside in order to get the help that we need.
Ask for help. This is important. And
we really do.
And not anybody and everybody, but you know who to ask.
Right. Yeah. Because like we said, you want somebody that is there and is doing things the way that you would want them to, care for your business the way that you need to. Because, and then not for nothing, you're not just a shop owner, but you're a wife, you're a mother, like you have other things that you do outside of your business. So it can be taxing. So it is important that you take that time for yourself to, so that you don't burn out.
No, I've seen people burn out. And I'll be honest, there were times when I was there, but I didn't, your body tells you when to sit down. And there was times when I felt like I was going beyond the cues. Like, okay, my body is telling me, my body's aching, I have a cough, my body's saying, Kendra, you need a day. So it's almost like, okay, let me listen to my body, because if I don't, I am going to burn out. So, but it's your baby. That's what I say with anything, no matter what it is. If it's a book, if it's a CD, when it's your baby, at the end of the day, you have to make sure the baby's taken care of. So, they say in the world, mama's baby, father's baby. That's how I feel about my business. This is my baby. So I can hire people, but they may not care about it just as much as I do. So at the end of the day, this is my baby. And bad news travels so much further than good news.
Oh, my goodness.
All I need is one bad experience with somebody. And 20,000 people will know about it. But if they have a great experience, I'm keeping this to myself. So that's why, I try to... I go on Google all the time and look at my reviews. So far, so good. All of them are good. Because that's important to me. What people think about my business, because that one bad review can make somebody say, okay, I'm not going to go there. I'll go to Macy's instead. And us, unfortunately, I hate that I have to say this on this podcast, but our people, Lord help us, we will give the nail salon that jacked our eyebrows up 3,000 chances. We'll go in there. So why you messing up my eyebrows? All right, I'm doing them again. My nail chip the next day. She'll let her do it again. Chinese food. They forgot my chicken wings. You're going to go back next week and order again. McDonald's forgot your fries. You're going to be in that drive-thru again. Dunkin' Donuts gave you the wrong coffee. You going back again. But when it comes down to black-owned businesses, you really have one chance to mess up, and they done with you. And that's with the food industry. I hear, I ain't never going. And I'm saying to myself, how many times did you go back to McDonald's after they gave you cold fries? How many times did you go back and get your nails done after they cracked the next day? So we give everybody else 1,000 chances, but when it comes down to us, you got a one and done. And that's unfortunate. So that's my mindset. I got one shot to make this person feel like they want to come back here again.
That's important. That's really important. We have to look at first impressions. Could be the last impression.
That's it.
And I think it goes to, I know we're talking about the business and we're talking about the natural, but it also goes to,
everything.
It speaks to the body of Christ and like how we're treating people, in the church. Like, look at it every time, even when you're out on the streets, the people that you meet. This could be your first impression, could also be your last impression. So always take the opportunity to seize the moment.
Yes.
It's important that you take every opportunity.
Especially in the church. Over the last few months, my husband asked me to spearhead being over the usher board of our church, right? When he asked me, I said yes. I've never applied for or went for anything in a church position-wise. Some people, they not kicking down doors, but I just lay low. But when I'm asked to do something, I always told God, whatever my hands find to do, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, usher board, okay, fine, I'll be over the ushers. And I prayed about it, I thought about it, and I sent them a text, and to your point, I said to them, I said, before they hear a song, before they hear a word preached, before they hear scripture, before they hear prayer, they meet you.
Yep.
So you are the person that's going to help them to decide whether they're ever going to come back here or not, initially, right? So that was my thing to the ushers. Like, you are the face of this church. Before they meet the pastor, before they meet the praise and worship, they meet you. You're the person. So it doesn't matter how good the word is, it don't matter how good the praise dancing, if their first interaction with you, the usher, was horrible, they already sitting through the word.
They already made a decision.
They already made a decision. They're never coming back here again. They already made a decision that this is the worst church in the world. They on their phone.
Yeah.
So, first impressions are lasting. So the ushers, sometimes they don't get as much recognition and applause that they should, but they are so important in the church.
Yeah, they're the first impression.
They're the first impression.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing.
Yeah.
So going back to entrepreneurship.
Business.
So obviously with every success, there comes failure.
Oh yes, I'm
like
there
that's
now.
how you learn.
I'm there right now.
So what has been one of the biggest mistakes or one of the biggest obstacles that you've had to overcome?
I'm there right now, actually. I'm at that place. So, as I said in the beginning, I'm not with the, God said, right? So, while I'm not saying God said leave my 9-to-5 and start the business, but he gave me the peace to do it, right? Over the last several months, so many businesses within the mall has closed. So it has impacted all the other businesses. And so I'm left here in this position like, okay, I know that it was nobody but God that blessed me to be in this mall. Like, who do I know that has a business in the mall? Nobody. So I know it was nobody but God. But now I'm at a place where it's dry and the money isn't the same. And so, okay, God, do I stay or do I go? Mm-hmm. And so right now I'm in a very uncomfortable position right now because I know that this mall has been a blessing, but as of late it is not still being a blessing. Yeah. And so I made the decision to move out of the mall, to come up north closer to where my customers are. And do I know for a fact that I'm making the right decision? I don't. Mm-hmm. But I also know that if I stay still and do nothing, I'm gonna lose. Mm-hmm. So it's like you gotta take a leap of faith and try something, because I can sit here and die and wait till my business dwindle, right? Or I can try to do something else. And so it's kind of like trial and error, if you will. And then on top of that, not trying to go to the spiritual realm, we had a service not too long ago, and somebody did prophesy to me and told me, Lord said, don't close your business. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. I said, he said I couldn't relocate. He said, don't close. Mm-hmm. So I'm very upset. Okay, Lord, you didn't say not relocate. You said don't close. So I said, okay. So that gave me the peace that I needed to just go ahead and just say, okay, we're leaving this location and we're moving on. So right now I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, I don't know where I'm going next. I don't even have a location. I just know that this is not it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I have to move on. Yeah.
And that there is key. You have to know when it's time, like when a particular season is like, okay, I'm done here. Right. It's time for me to move on to something different. Yes. And so you have to be able to adapt. You have to be agile. You have to be flexible. And you have to be able to pivot.
And you can't be afraid. Yeah. You can't be afraid. If you're afraid, you're never going to move. You're never going to grow. You can't be afraid. Fear not. You can't. Like, faith and fear don't mix. It's like water and oil. You can't have both. You got to pick. So I'm going to choose faith every time, because fear has never given me anything good. It's never left me in a good space. Yeah. So I'm going to choose faith.
Faith without works is dead.
Dead.
So if you saying you got faith, but you sitting there doing nothing,
then you don't.
You really don't have faith. Your faith should be moving. In your faith, you should be moving.
Amen.
So listen, we're coming down to the last bit of our segment, okay? But I have one last question for you.
I'm here for it.
What advice would you give to an up-and-coming entrepreneur?
So the advice that I would give you, which I wish someone had given me, is this: 6 months worth of living expenses. Whatever your month-to-month living expenses are, I would say to have that saved up and tucked away for a rainy day. Just so when things, business is up and down. Some months are great, some months are not. So just so you have your own living expenses tucked away, I think 6 months should be enough, sufficient for you to weather the storms, right? And also, do not, please, I am begging you, do not use your own personal money and your social security number when handling business. Use your EIN and take out business credit, because when things should go left, or if you should ever get into a hard place and you use your own name, your own money, what do you have to fall back on now? Nothing. So save your money, save your social, save your identity, and just use the business name. Because like I said, people do it all the time. They start over. You see furniture stores all up and down the road. They've been there forever. They never close, but they'll tell you closing, liquidating. All they do is change their name, get a new LLC, and start over.
Yeah.
But when you attach your social and your name to that, it's a one and done. You kind of put yourself in a bad place.
Good stuff. Okay, y'all heard it here. Okay? Your motivation can't be money. Stay in your lane. Re-strategize when you need to. And make sure you do not take out credit in your own name and your own social security. Make sure you do it in your business name.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kendra, for joining us for A New Perspective. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Again, I am Elder T, and this is Kendra. Kendra, let the people know that they can still find you online. Let the web address is.
Oh, yeah, so I am still online. My website is ladykjewels.com. It's exactly how it sounds. It's Lady, L-A-D-Y, the letter K, Jewels.com. And then you can find me on Instagram to stay up to date with where I'll be next. I'm not sure yet, but if you follow me on Instagram, you'll get all the scoop. My IG is Jewels_LKJ.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kendra. And we out.
My pleasure.